Helo. Ydych chi'n barod am rhan 3? Well, in part 3, we've finished with all of the angel visits, but there's plenty of comings and goings. Lots of visitors to talk about in the story of Jesus, especially what happened in Jerusalem when he was just 40 days old. Mary and Joseph, having named the baby Jesus, now prepared 40 days after his birth to go up to Jerusalem, to the big city, just a few miles away, so that they could visit the temple. When they got there, they would dedicate their baby to God. They needed to bring with them some gifts to God. They chose to take 2 birds, an offering, a thank you to God for their son. They were such a poor family, so this was the best that they could offer. Living in Jerusalem at that time was an old man named Simeon. He was a good man and trusted and loved God. God had revealed to him that he wouldn't die until he set eyes upon God's Messiah, the Christ. On this particular day, Simeon felt that God was telling him, "Go to the temple, visit it today, go now." So he did what he knew was best, and he left his home and went to the temple. Just as Simeon arrived, he saw a couple, Mary and Joseph, and their baby arrive at the temple. He shuffled over to them and he said, "Oh, what a lovely baby. May I hold him?" Mary and Joseph were a little surprised, but they let him take the baby Jesus. Simeon looked into the baby's eyes and he began to cry. He was so happy. Tears of joy rolled down his cheeks. And then he looked up into the heavens and he prayed to God. And he said, "God, I'm happy. I'm ready to die now. Your promise to me has come true, for I have seen your salvation. He's going to be a light to the nations. He's the glory of all of Israel. Thank you." And he handed Jesus back to Mary and Joseph, who were a little surprised. But then these kinds of surprises kept on happening to them. This baby must have been ever so special. Mary and Joseph had hardly taken a few steps further when they bumped into someone else who seemed to be glad to see them. Anna, an elderly prophetess, lived day and night in the temple. She didn't have anyone else to go to. She was alone, and yet she was still happy. She saw Jesus, and straight away she knew that this baby was special. And she praised God and thanked God. And everybody that was walking by, she stopped and she told them, "This baby, he's the Redeemer of Jerusalem. He's the one who's come to save us all." Mary and Joseph were having an awful lot of surprises today. They couldn't but help think about who this baby really was. Well, we've come to the end of part 3 of our Christmas assemblies. We've met most of the usual Christmas characters, Mary and Joseph, the baby Jesus, of course. We've also thought about the angels, including the angel Gabriel that brought those early messages, and the shepherds. We've also come across some less well-known characters from these stories. Zacharias and his wife Elizabeth, and the baby that they had, Jesus' cousin, John. Also, those 2 elderly folk that were at the temple when Jesus visited with his parents, Simeon and Anna. As the weeks passed by, Mary must have thought much about what Simeon had said. He'd also told her that Jesus would cause the rise and the fall of many in the land. But quietly he said to her that he would also be the cause of a sword piercing her heart. What could that mean, she wondered. Well, we haven't mentioned some other characters from the story. The wise men. Well, that's coming next. Don't forget to join us for the next part, the final part of our Christmas story. Thank you.